Hello out there. It's Christina, and it is a Monday. And I thought, well, let me jump into your lunchtime. Hopefully, you've taken a little bit of time out for yourself. And I'm going to talk about fear and the antidote called empathy. Well, why don't I start with why am I talking about this today? Uh, as many of you know, I do mental fitness work and I'm an alignment coach and a performance coach. And one of the biggest things I see that separates us from each other is fear. And this is what fear does. Fear makes me protect. It makes me be a perfectionist. It drives me to judge others. It makes me push so that I can be accepted and loved and be the best. Fear is something that we've all learned to work with in order to carry us where we want to go. And you might go, well, I don't have fear. Well, we all do. It's how we're wired, right? It's how we stay alive. Now, often I talk about the source that feeds us. And in the work I've done over the last 10 years, I fundamentally believe that there's two sources that feed us. The one is fear, and we need fear. We're human beings. It keeps us alive. Uh, and the other one is love or wisdom. I like using the word love. Love for me is a good word to use because love is a word of generosity, acceptance. It creates agility, it drives connection. It's fantastic. So I've got fear and I've got love. So why am I talking about this? Well, I mean, this week we've seen over the last week COVID just go crazy, and we've seen how our businesses have once again had to be agile and had to work and cope with things. And I was just thinking about how often we can go into that fear state. And then if you are me, I push, push, push. And the problem is when I'm in my fear state, this is what happens to me. I'm separate from other people. I separate myself. I almost go into this independent cocoon where I'm trying to drive an outcome with what I have because the unknown, the unexpected makes me fearful. My worry about tomorrow makes me fearful. My fear around survival or around thriving makes me fearful. And I think as soon as that kicks in, all my other coping mechanisms or behaviors kick in. And in the work we do around mental fitness, we call that our saboteur behavior. And I've got a high achiever saboteur that can kick in. And I am not that, but I do have that could kick in for me when fear drives me. And has it served me in the past? Absolutely. It's taken me where I needed to go. Why is it no longer good for me? Because I recognize when I'm in that striving for achievement phase, I will focus on that and I will be a workaholic. I will disconnect what's really important in my life. I will push myself at all costs to get there. And where is there? How's that for a powerful question? Where is there? So here's a thought for you. When I'm in fear, I start creating coping behaviors because I'm trying to fill that gap that's never fillable. Okay. Fear separates me from others. So when I look at others, I see what they are not versus what they are. Okay, because I look at them through the lens that I will look at myself at, and the things that I fear about me, I will pick up in others and judge them. The next one I have is, yeah, fear actually, and I love this because this revelation freed me. Fear is heavy to carry because as strong as I become through the fear that I have, it becomes heavy because it takes away my ability to be agile, to be flexible, to be accepting. And I think this is really important. If we're talking about leaders out there and people out there, if we're talking about becoming the leader you want to be, leading a team through change, being agile, being innovative, creative, having deep connection with people, finding a way in which we can harness our strengths and be better together. Fear shouldn't be our source, because if fear is our source, it's going to be about what we need for our safety and survival versus what we create together to be better, because we know that we're better together. Fear stops me from letting go. Years ago, I had the most amazing ops manager, and I was struggling to let go of a certain situation that had happened with a team member. because I felt so fearful about what this meant for me reputationally. That's the first thing. I was fearful of the shame story that I carried with that. It was so overwhelming. And I was fearful of having made the investment and not getting the return. It was just so crazy. And I just couldn't let it go. And I kept playing the story over and over again. And I'll tell you what it brought out. It brought out my negative behaviors. It brought out separation. I actually felt like I was replaying the situation and just couldn't be free. But I want to talk about the antidote to fear and shame, which is empathy. And I think it has to start with me first. And I love this because there are different ways to look at empathy. Empathy is a deep feeling with somebody else. Empathy is not trying to fix someone, but just being there, recognizing that they have a truth that might be different to ours. Empathy is holding that space while someone works through their reflections. Empathy is accepting that person for what it is. Empathy is recognizing that inside each person we have got the opportunity to be filled with love, not fear. I had to work on empathy, and I had to give it to myself first, which was really hard. And then I started working on how I can give that to others and to hold space for them and to hear them and to see them. And I cannot tell you what a difference that has made for me. And I hope for those that I walk next to every single day, because we can get to that place where we can recognize fear for what it is, acknowledge our emotion, and then choose to be present in this moment to find our agility, to find the way we need to navigate our life, to make decisions that will allow us to be better together, to own our presence, to know who we are. I've shared so much. I use all these words, but mainly I want to leave you with a thought today. Wouldn't it be amazing if we didn't have to isolate in our world or feel like we're the only person we could rely on, if we could really just allow ourselves to be with others so that we can be better together? Fear will stop me from doing that. Acceptance, love, and wisdom, love, will allow me to be that. So I'll leave that with you today. Thank you for being in my space. Thank you for allowing Ignite Television to hopefully spark a few embers of hope in your world, or maybe just sow a few seeds of reflection. This is Christina Foxwell. Absolute pleasure to spend time with you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.